Hey fight fans, welcome back to the Fight Book. This is the Indian Action Guy, and today we have a lot of interesting updates from the fight world. We have updates from Aspinall versus Gane at UFC 317, UFC's plan after Belal versus JDM at UFC 315, then Eddie Hearn versus Dana White, Benn versus Eubank, PPV bias, new boxing fight announcements. So without wasting any time, let's start the video. Let's start the video from Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane news, and this rumor was spread from UFC's Dean Thomas, who was asked in an interview that what if he had to put money on what the UFC 317 man event is, and he replied that it would be Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. Thomas says that he thinks UFC have convinced Aspinall to take the Ciryl Gane fight because Jon Jones holds off waiting for more info before accepting the Aspinall fight. Anyway, if this end up being the case and it's for the undisputed title because Jones needs more time to make a decision, then this should not be a problem because Aspinall has been left hanging for far too long. Let the division move on. Then the next news is again a rumor, not official, and it is the UFC's plan after UFC 315. And the rumor is that the UFC is planning to go to Perth in July for a fight-night event that in case if Jack Della Maddalena loses to Belal Muhammad at UFC 315. But if Jack Della Maddalena wins the fight and becomes the new welterweight champion, then UFC will go to Perth in September for a PPV event headlined by Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev. Anyway, Belal Muhammad predicts his fight against Jack Della Maddalena at UFC 315 after Maddalena's leaked footage yesterday where he was seen choking out World BJJ champion Craig Jones. He says he will break Jack Della Maddalena in 3 rounds.
He'll break in 3.
He moreover said that he will walk out with the Palestinian flag at UFC 315 in Montreal as there is nothing is going to stop him from doing it. While he was talking about his fight with Maddalena, Khamzat Chimaev out of nowhere sends him a message, "Belal, where are you going, pony?" Khamzat sends this message in response to Belal, who had said he would be going to the middleweight division. And in reply, Belal again said that he is going to middleweight. Next, we have the official poster of UFC 316 released, and it is as average as the PPV card. And then we have some random updates from the UFC fighters. First, number 11 ranked UFC welterweight Stephen Thompson called out number 13 ranked Carlos Prates. He says, "We want to keep the fight standing. We want to see who the best striker is in the UFC." Next, we have former UFC flyweight prospect Jeff Molina, who went 3-0 in the UFC before getting suspended. He announced via Ariel Helwani show that he has signed with BKFC, which BKFC denied, saying that they respect ABC's current suspension and will honor their rules. Next, UFC middleweight fighter Sedrques Dumas, who is coming off a loss at UFC 314, got arrested for the 13th time on multiple charges, including robbery and battery. Then next we have Brian Battle, who will be added to UFC on May 1st, tomorrow. Then Alex Ferreira got featured in the latest GQ magazine in Brazil. And then Dan Argueta has announced his retirement from professional MMA after hearing that the UFC will not let him fight the final match on his contract. He is just another UFC fighter that never got to experience a sold-out arena. Then next we have another rumor that WWE's in-house music team has started composing entrance songs for UFC fighters too. UFC fighters usually use mainstream songs for their walkouts, but TKO is now using Def Rebel to cut costs. I think it is going to be a great investment from TKO. Anyway, next we have Jake Paul, who responds to the criticism surrounding his upcoming fight against Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He compares his fight with Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett and considers himself a prospect like Paddy Pimblett, who is fighting someone out of his prime. Anyway, Ariel Helwani also interviewed Matchroom Boxing's promoter Eddie Hearn, who confirmed that he is up for a fight and the leading promoters won't let Dana White or TKO Boxing take the market share easily. He even said those guys won't be able to lace his shoes in boxing promotions. Boxing is a different business than the UFC. He criticizes UFC for trying to make their brand bigger than the fighters. He says he can't even name 6 superstars in the UFC. You can see the irony. Turki Al-Sheikh is doing the same with Riyadh Season and Ring Magazine's card. Even Canelo Alvarez is fighting this weekend, and most of the boxing fans don't even know that he is fighting this weekend. They're also making their brand more famous than the fighters, but Eddie doesn't have any problem with Turkey and just talking shit about Dana White. Anyway, in the same show, Eddie Hearn also revealed that Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn fight did well over 1 million pay-per-view buys worldwide. I think it's the first pay-per-view that crossed 1 million pay-per-view buys after Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia fight. Ryan Garcia is, by the way, open to the idea of facing Conor Benn in the United States. After Garcia's these remarks, Conor Benn has called for a stadium fight against Garcia later this year. But we all know that's our only talks, as Ryan Garcia is contracted to fight Devin Haney next if he and Haney both wins this weekend. Moreover, there were open workouts for the Garcia versus Romero card, and on the open workouts, Garcia and his father got into it with Devin Haney's father, Bill Haney, at the media workout.
Son got no balls. His son got no balls.
Now let's talk about the fight announcements. And the first one is a big one, title unification fight presented by Matchroom Boxing. The WBC Super Flyweight champion Jesse Bam Rodriguez will be taking on WBO Super Flyweight champion Fomelela Kafu in a unification fight on Bam's home state, Texas. The fight was rumored to take place at Dallas, but now it is officially announced that it will take place in Frisco, Texas. The co-main event will be a key super middleweight bout between WBO #1 contender Diego Pacheco facing Trevor McCambie. Pacheco was ordered to take Mbili for the WBC interim super middleweight title, but he chooses the fight against McCambie, who is coming off his first loss to WBA interim champion Caleb Plant. Next, we have IBF super flyweight title bout between their #3 ranked Willibaldo Perez versus #4 ranked Rene Calixto. This will be a rematch after their first fight went to a draw, which was for the vacant IBF super flyweight world title. Then the next we have a WBA super middleweight title eliminator bout. WBA #4 ranked super middleweight Darius Fulgham will be taking on #3 ranked Bektamir Melikuziev. The fight will headline Golden Boys Fight Night card in Virgin Hotels Las Vegas on May 30th. Then last but the not least, we finally have an update from Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Road Jr. 2. We learned that Gervonta Davis is still contractually committed to fighting Lamont Road Jr. next in an immediate rematch. Being told they won't fight on June 21st at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, though new date to be decided. And that's all in this video. Now you are completely up to date with the fight world. If you like the video, you are supposed to do only one thing. Just share your thoughts in the comment section and then do whatever you want.